AskReddit. Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? After 4 years of no dating following a crushing breakup, a mutual friend called to my attention she was into me. I was oblivious. I didn't know her very well, but I was ready to try again. I wasn't even sure I was very attracted to her, but I figured it couldn't hurt to go out on a date with a nice girl. We hit it off. She's pretty shy, which is why she said she'd never had the courage to try to talk to me. In the course of the first date I'm slowly realizing she's amazing. Many years later, now we have 2 kids, and there's just a lot of love in our lives. I'm a female, but I'm very introverted. I met my now husband at the gym. I would always work out with my brother and my now husband thought I was dating my brother because we were always at the gym together. When he asked my brother how long we had been dating, we both looked at each other and said UHH, we are siblings so never. He asked my brother if we could all work out sometime, and I went full on awkward when we did. He was showing me a new workout, and he almost smashed my face in with a dumbbell. I walked off because I was so embarrassed and started working out alone. Then he asked me out to lunch, and we hit it off. Edit, reworded a sentence. Writes in notebook. Hit woman. Chase. I told her if I weren't so socially inept, I'd be trying to have a conversation with you. Married almost 9 years. She came over to me in a coffee shop while she was on vacation in my country to ask how to tip. We had a 2-hour conversation and then an amazing 5-hour lunch 2 days later. She complained about her hostel and I offered her my spare bedroom. She accepted. Nothing happened, although it seems crystal clear in retrospect that we were falling for each other. I didn't want to be douchey and make her feel uncomfortable under my roof, so putting the moves on her was not something I seriously considered. 2 nights later, I had to be gone for most of the night on a work assignment, and I asked if she would please watch and walk my dog in my absence. I came home at 5 AM and was greeted by my suddenly very soft, very fluffy dog. She had somehow understood, will you please watch my dog, and apparently didn't find that a strange request at all. The next evening, after we'd been talking over a bottle of wine for hours, it seemed she'd had enough of my apparent indecisiveness, took the wine glass out of my hand, put it down, and leaned in for a kiss. That was 26 years ago. We've been married 23 years. We are both introverts, but I definitely can force myself to be bold. I was a waitress at a restaurant he came into. He asked to borrow my pen. I told him, only if you write down your number. Sometimes introvert guys need a girl who is not afraid to make the first move. We've been together almost 14 years now. I met a girl on the internet. Let's call her M. She was outgoing, social, very extroverted and maybe a tad crazy. She came to visit me, about 7 hours drive away, and I awkwardly tried not to make an ass of myself. While visiting, she said, hey, a friend of mine from high school is on a co-op/intern term city very nearby, we should go meet up with her for an afternoon. Let's call that friend K. K was nerdy, awkward, introverted, and I completely re-evaluated what I wanted in a partner within the first 5 minutes of meeting her. K and I both slowly lost contact with M, and to this day we aren't sure if she knows that we became a couple a few years later, or that we got married. Someday, we are going to run into her, and it's going to be really funny. Probably will be buried, but hey, I think it's cute. We are both introverts, and as a result, it took a little while for us to actually become romantically involved, a little while being 7 years. She and I met when we were both 11, when we were put together to compete in a music competition as a duet. We are both cellists. I had a little 11-year-old crush on her straight away, and she had the same thing for me. Neither of us ever told the other about our feelings for years, instead talking to our friends about it, and then getting into other relationships, and forgetting about each other for a while. Eventually, after I broke up with my girlfriend of 3 years, I asked my now significant other if she wanted to catch up and play some music together. We saw each other for a few weeks in a row, and then, after 7 years of on and off feelings for each other, we became a thing, and I'm happier than I've ever been. She just made me her boyfriend one day and I don't really want a girlfriend, and I'm too scared to end it. He was in the corner, drinking a bottle of water. I noticed him immediately, and I noticed him noticing me for the better part of an hour. I finally just walked up to him after I figured he was too shy to approach me. We chatted for about 2 hours and then left. Later in school, we exchanged our AOL screen names, and that after weeks of random chat sessions, he finally worked up the courage to ask if I wanted to see a movie, Harry Potter match. During the date, he didn't say anything, but I noticed him very fidgety, so I decided to hold his hand. After the movie, we were sitting in his car in silence, and he was fidgety again, so I grabbed his face and kissed his cheek. He turned completely red, but was grinning ear to ear. In person, he had trouble stringing sentences together, but online we would chat for hours. He had to express his love via email and cuddling without saying a word. We first met over 14 years ago, bought a house together, and getting married in October. Going to Disney and Universal for our honeymoon/celebrate Halloween. It's pretty much amazing. As we get older, he's gotten much more vocal, but I still do most of the talking and socializing. We do a squeeze when holding hands to mean love you. If we don't want to talk, love him to pieces. At a garage sale. Well, technically my mom's garage sale. My father was a hoarder, but not of old newspapers or glass bottles or garbage. He hoarded consumer goods, tools, CDs, home improvement stuff, camping gear, hunting and fishing stuff. The man had piles and piles of it stuffed into his home, most of it pretty high quality, all bought on clearance. The old man was a sucker for a deal, even if he didn't have a use for it. After he passed away, it fell to us to figure out what to do with a stock of overstocked goods large enough to open a store. So we sold it at rock bottom prices in the front yard, as is tradition. It was a miserably hot summer's day. My mom requested that I come over and help, because the house was on a well-trafficked street, and the sheer volume of stuff meant there would be tons of people. She was right. There'd been a zillion people the day before, and though we'd sold a lot of stuff, there was much more yet to go. And today, I'd put an ad up on Craigslist. It was even busier. It was a long day of haggling with strangers, but at the end of the day, we'd sold 90% of the load, and we were just getting ready to close up and celebrate our success with pizza. Then this car pulls up, and out hops this gorgeous girl. She starts poking around in the CDs first, finds a couple she loves, then waves me over and starts asking about some she's unfamiliar with. Think she thought that, since she'd found a few things she liked, the stuff she hadn't heard might be in the same vein, not knowing it was purchased indiscriminately from bargain bins all over town. I answer as best I can. I hadn't heard most of them, but I was able to steer her to a couple she might enjoy. We kept chatting, and I sort of showed her around in between helping other people who kept showing up. There was definitely an instant attraction, and some really great conversation. She had to get going, so I made her a sweetheart deal on the stuff, and helped her to her car. She got in, drove away, and then I realized I hadn't gotten her number. My brother and my neighbor had a fucking field day at my stupidity. But she told me where she worked, at a restaurant down the road, and she told me the days she was usually scheduled. So I did something very unusual for me and pursued it. Friday afternoons, I'd drive over from my office and ask to sit in her section. The food was terrible, but she'd stop and chat as long as it wasn't busy, and I caught her miring a few times. So on my third visit, I told her I'd love to see more of her and asked for her number. 10 years, a marriage, and a child, and we are still head over heels for each other. So I guess I owe my dad for the posthumous hookup. Online dating. Cut out all the crap and filter selectively. I've only sent messages to a handful of women. Only chatted with 3. Only gone on dates with 1. We've been together for 8 years now, married for 3. Edit. Wow, a lot more replies than I anticipated. I should probably add a disclaimer. Results not typical, and may or may not be reproducible. Your success rate may vary. Typical message range varies from 1 to 1 million. Typical date range varies from 1 to 1 million. Before entering the online dating world, consult your doctor, therapist, bartender, and lawyer. Side effects may or may not include loneliness, happiness, desperation, good conversation, sad masturbation, bankruptcy, lots of sex and lots of awkward silences. Proceed with caution and at your own risk. Best of luck, and may red odds be forever in your favor. She just made me her boyfriend one day and I don't really want a girlfriend, and I'm too scared to end it.